there, and welcome to episode 9 of Declutter Me, a podcast about organizing and decluttering your life. I'm with your host, Shelina. Hey there, how are you doing this week?
I'm great. Yeah, thanks for that. I've been looking at my phone and I thought this might be a good time to talk about app overload, which is, I think, it's a big thing that's happening with a lot of people right now. So I thought let's help them declutter that as I'm looking at my phone as well at the same time.
Well, while we're on that, how many apps do you have on your phone right now, or how many pages of apps do you have on your phone?
I have roughly downloaded about 600 apps over the years, but I have about 300 on my phone. But they're all neatly organized.
Okay.
And they're all different things. So there's different, so you can put them into folders on the iPhone, which I've done. So I have all the essential apps on page 1, everything I use on a day-to-day basis, all the apps for which are country specific for the country I'm in. And then I have further folders for music, for movie, TV stuff. Like IMDb is a very important app because I need to find out about actors and movies very often.
Okay, I can't tell if you're being funny right now or super serious.
No, serious. This is a serious thing.
Cool.
Like IMDb is an amazing app. I'm sure other people find it very useful as well. And then there's other apps, you know, for travel. So I have a folder just for all the airlines that I use and their apps, because they all have apps now. This is a problem. Everyone and their mother has an app now, except for Declutter Me so far. But, you know, so you need these apps for everything. So, you know, when you're traveling, when you're flying, you know, we fly out of here, we need the Emirates app to get our boarding pass and to book our flights and things like that. So there's various things, and they are useful, and you get, you know, in certain apps you get points if you use the app, so we use that as well.
All right, so where does one begin?
So when you're decluttering your phone, first thing is obviously to delete the apps. Delete apps you don't use, apps that don't work anymore. So there's certain companies who've got apps that have stopped working. We have a thing here with our road transport authority. They have had about 7 apps over the years. Every year there's a new app to use, and they tell you, and then when you try to use the original app, it says it doesn't work anymore and you have to use one app. I think they've now finally got everything into one app, but it's taken this many years. So delete all of the apps that don't work, and you will know as soon as you switch it on and you go to it, it says it's no longer works, or it doesn't find your location or something. So delete that. Delete the games that you don't play. You know, you downloaded those games and you played it for 1 week and got bored of it. That's a big one to delete. Lots of people download those ones for exercise or gym and yoga and meditation, and do it once and get irritated by the voice from the meditator. Delete that. So any apps that you don't use, even if you've just bought it or just downloaded it and you found it completely and utterly useless, delete it immediately. So do that first. And then once you've deleted it, then start organizing it into the folders. That's a good way of making you see all the apps that you have, and also because you put all your travel apps together. So all the apps for the hotels, for flights. I have 2 folders for UK stuff. So I have one folder just for all UK apps that I use all the time when I'm there, and another one for travel. So I have one for the UK travel, which has the flights, roads, trains, London Underground. All of that is in another folder as well. So I can easily move that folder to the front page when I'm in the UK. So there's things like that. So if you travel to certain countries all the time, you can collect all those apps into one folder. So that's very useful. And especially for us living here, because we travel so much, and some people travel to certain countries all the time, it's good to organize those apps for that country specific into a folder. Another thing to do is to put all your say your music folders. So you've got iTunes, you have YouTube, things like that. You can put them all into one folder as well, so for entertainment. And then the main ones you use all the time, your email, your calendar, your social media apps, should be in the front page, so they're easy to find. So what you want to do, as with everything in life with me, you want to be able to find everything within a few seconds. So if it takes you a long time to find the apps right now on your phone, that's because they're not organized properly, or you've got too many apps. So look first at the apps and see, do you need all of these apps? and then organize them, move after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll link to it in the show notes actually, but yeah, on like the iPhone and stuff now, you can there's a feature called offloading unused apps.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think there's a duration that it checks, but there's some pattern recognition going on. Basically, if you haven't used an app in a certain amount of time, what it does is it kind of offloads the app from your phone.
Right.
It leaves the icon in there, so the the decluttering aspect is still there because you still have to get rid of it, but it kind of at least clears up the space on your phone. If you want to reuse the app, you tap it and then it'll just re-download it for you.
Oh, that's why that keeps on happening. Oh, okay. So that makes sense, because that was happening when I went to the UK recently, and obviously I don't use it for many months, and then suddenly that was happening. So that makes sense. And that's good in a way, because then it's reducing the amount of storage. So that's a good thing. Another thing to do is the notifications. So switch off the notifications for all the apps that you don't need. So you don't need notification of games. You don't need to be reminded you need to play a game. If you want to play the game, you will. You only need notifications for your phone, for messages, and we've talked about before about WhatsApp messages and what to do with the notifications on that to not feel overwhelmed. And it's the same for all the apps. You don't want to feel overwhelmed, and that's what happens. And these are automatically switched on when you download apps, so you need to physically go in and change it. So every time you download an app, change the notification structure, and also how about the location bit, because you don't want to waste battery on that. You've set the right settings for it so that you don't waste the battery and you don't waste the storage on the phone with these apps. Okay, another thing also with regards to notifications is with news outlets. My parents, they have a few iPads, they have iPhones, they have Macs as well. They have the BBC app. So every time there's a breaking news, which is every 5 minutes in this world, they get a notification. And